What's going on, YouTube? This is BoxingWave. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, follow me on all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, at BoxingWave10. All right, so first off, shout out to everyone that was here during the live commentary. I hope you guys enjoyed the live commentary. All the new subscribers, we were on here for a while, getting busy, having a good time. For all three cards, all right? I didn't fully cover the ESPN card, but I did cover some of it. Well, once the Tank Davis fight started, I had to go over to the Showtime pay-per-view. But before that, we got the zone, and I covered the majority of that card. All right. As far as the card overall, wasn't really that great. Fights weren't really that entertaining. But the big fight, the main fight, was definitely probably the best fight out of all of them. Here's the thing. Usyk won the fight. I think I scored it 9-3, 8-4, somewhere around there. I can't remember what I scored it live. But this was Usyk's test. And leading up to this fight, I've done countless videos saying this is a real test. This is a real test. Chisora is a game heavyweight. Okay? He has a big punch. All right? He's on good momentum. He's won his last few fights. He's bigger. He's going to bully Usyk. He's going to use his size as an advantage. And I think, I said 65-35 towards Usyk as the favorite. Not a 50-50, but it wouldn't be a complete upset, like a super upset, if, Chisora was to win the fight, even by knockout. I gave him a shot. I thought he was dangerous, and he was the proper test at heavyweight. Usyk passed the test. Now, Usyk did well, but I was saying during the commentary, Usyk is noticeably slower as a heavyweight. He's a bigger man now. All right? He's not all cut up and stuff. Looks a little soft around, the stomach. He's in shape. He moved for entire 12 rounds. But as far as fighting, him being a fighter, I'm not talking about skills, because everybody's going to talk about skills. Listen, I acknowledge Usyk's skills. Before a heavyweight, I've had him as a pound-for-pound top 5 fighter. So I'm not no Usyk hater. But as a heavyweight, as an actual heavyweight, are you really that impressed with him? You've seen him in 2 fights now. Chaz Witherspoon, all right, that's really just a tune-up. But we seen him in there with Derek Chisora, a real test. Someone that's been in there with a lot of fighters. But someone that's been in there and lost to most of those fighters, those top fighters. Okay? How would you rate Usyk's performance against all of the other heavyweights that's beaten Chisora, a fresher Chisora? How would you rate his performance compared to Klitschko, David Haye, Dillian White? Pulev. And all the other fighters, Helenius, all the other fighters, Tyson Fury, 2 times. How do you compare his performance against these other guys? Especially the top ones, the top fighters, not Helenius. All right, we know Dillian White got into a close fight with him, debatable fight. But in a rematch, he knocked him out. How do you compare? Even to Pulev, who is another top heavyweight. How would you compare? Now, we know that he won the fight. Yes, he won the fight. And it was a comfortable win. I think Usyk at least won 8 rounds. But are you really impressed with him? Is he still that threat that you thought he was when he became undisputed, when he beat Tony Bellew, when he won the World Boxing Super Series? Are you still thinking that he's more skillful and talented than all these heavyweights, and he can beat them too? Do you guys still believe that? I don't. And I'm not just talking about AJ or Fury or Wilder or, whatever other heavyweight you want to name. I'm just saying that I don't know if he can beat the top 5. I don't know if he can beat Povetkin. I don't know if he can beat Dillian White, Luis Ortiz, whoever you want to know, whoever you want to name, the guys that's ahead of Chisora. I'm not sure if he can beat these guys. I saw the fight. He won the fight. But it was very competitive, and there was not much action from him. It was a lot of movement. I like the counters, some of them. He did rock Chisora one of those rounds towards the end of the round. But for the most part, we didn't really get much. We got a lot of him just avoiding and making sure he was out of the way against Chisora. He was out of danger. Now people say, I've seen people say, Chisora, the way he was fighting, he would have gave a lot of people trouble. No, because these other big fighters, and this is my point. Weight divisions are there for a reason. These bigger guys that fought Chisora, and even some of them that didn't fight Chisora, they were able to handle him without having to move. Watch Tyson Fury fight, especially watch the rematch. Go back to that. Because I've heard people say that Usyk would give Tyson Fury trouble. So if that's true, go back and look at Tyson Fury's fight against Derek Chisora. Especially the rematch. Chisora was doing the same thing, lunging, throwing big right hands. But Tyson Fury didn't have to move. He'd just hold on to him. Or slip the shot without having to move laterally and stay out of the way. Now, I understand that's the way Usyk fights, which is good. He's a very skillful, talented fighter. But he proved that he belongs at the heavyweight division. Yeah, he can fight there and pick up some wins. But does he beat the super elite? I don't think so. I don't think he beats AJ with that performance. I don't think he beats Tyson Fury with that performance. Absolutely not. I think he's good. I would like to see the fight. But it's just different. Being the best cruiserweight, and being a top heavyweight, two totally different things. Because at the end of the day, size does matter. A really good big guy will beat a really good small guy. It is what it is. Ask Mikey Garcia. Ask Kell Brook. Ask Sugar Ray Robinson. Ask whatever you want to ask. Whoever you want to ask. Guillermo Riga now. Ask them all. It is what it is. So Usyk, good win. Okay. As far as Chisora, I mean, he did what he tried to do. I mean, in my opinion, Chisora came in too heavy. He was extremely slow. All right. He was extreme. I don't know. It just looks so much heavier than he did at the weigh-in. He was very slow to me. He was lunging a lot. I thought he was doing well when he was working behind his jab. I thought he was doing better then. Yes, he was landing the right hands. And let's say, listen, Usyk has skills. But Chisora was landing. And he was landing a lot. Someone with quicker hands, with more power, like an AJ, better counterpuncher, sharper punches, straighter punches. If he hits Usyk the way Chisora was landing, Usyk's going to sleep. Straight like that. He's skillful. Again, no one's denying his talent. But heavyweight is a different beast. Now, if they make this new 224 division super cruiserweight thing, then I think he'll do well. He'll fight some of these smaller heavyweights that's out there. Breedis will move up. Sure, Gassiev is up there now. He'll fight some of the smaller heavyweights that's around. Michael Hunter is up there, who he already beat, but there's fighters up there. All right, but that quickness that I saw as a cruiserweight, I think he was sharper as a cruiser. I think he's a slower heavyweight, and his power is not the factor. I know he wasn't a huge puncher as a cruiserweight, but he can hit. He can hit. But I wasn't super impressed with it. Not sure if he could beat the top 5 guys. Or maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure how he beats the other top heavyweights. Guys that are not... We know AJ is fighting Pulev. How would he do against Pulev? I'm curious to know. Because these guys are bigger guys. I seen Pulev against Chisora. I was more impressed with Pulev's win against Chisora than Usyk's. That's just me. That's my opinion. I was more impressed with David Haye, who was a former cruiserweight. Way more impressed with David Haye. And I know styles make fights. I understand that. But Usyk was fighting his fight. But Usyk quite didn't look the same as a heavyweight to me. Not quite the same. Got hit a little too much. I think if Derek Chisora tweaked the game plan a little bit, instead of just lunging, I get it. You're the bigger guy. You're the inferior boxer between the two. But if he boxed a little bit more, maybe worked behind his jab a little bit more. I even like the fact that he went southpaw a little bit. I like what he was doing. If he had stuck to that, worked behind his jab instead of just lunging and winging big right hands, burning himself out, loading up on every punch. If he had did a little bit better with the boxing, I think he had a better chance setting up that right hand. Maybe he would have connected bigger. But he punched himself out too soon. Too soon. And that's part of the problem. Good fight though. Good win. Good win. Tough win. Tough win. Tough win. But he got the W. And that's what matters at the end of the day. Alright? He's getting up there in age. Alright? He'll be 35. I don't know, man. I don't know. And especially, if he's talking about not fighting in a year or the rest of the year, what he said in the post-fight interview. Especially if Joshua is going to go on a fight Tyson Fury twice. I don't know, man. There's other tough fights. Can he beat Joseph Parker? Can he beat him? Can he beat Andy Ruiz? I don't know. I want to see it, though. He's cool. He's skillful. And he might look better against some of these other fighters because they're not going to be as physical as Chisora. All right, but they're better boxers than Chisora. And some of them punch a lot harder than Chisora. They are knockout artists in that division. How is he going to fare against those other guys? If he's going to get in there with these other guys. All right. All right, so let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you subscribe. This is not an Usyk bashing video. I support him. It's just that I am being realistic here. Heavyweight is a different level. Guys are talented at cruiserweight, but they're not as big. They are far smaller. All right? Far smaller. I know Breedis. I know Usyk fought Joe Joyce and beat him in the amateurs. That's cool. He's beating Chisora now. But those aren't the super elite at the division. It's different. There's levels to this. And if you come out struggling against a guy like that, whereas other heavyweights dominated Chisora, not too sure how good you are. All right? Anyway, peace. Make sure you subscribe.